I want you to take this app and delete it. Do not let these rich kids going to these schools affect your life. I assure you, you're going to get into college and it's going to be fine. That's not normal. That cannot stress this enough. Hi everybody, it's Hippa. Welcome back to my channel. School just ended for me, which means we're going straight into another college application season, which means prepare for war. Common App season is probably like the worst time of my life. It was awful, it was depressing, it was terrible, it was tiring, and I hated it. But they're going through. I have learned a few tips and stuff that are helpful. If I was to do it again, I know what I'd do differently. And so here are some things that I wish I knew going into Common App season. Hopefully they help you a lot or a little or not. I mean, that's life. But hopefully it does help you a bit. And I hope that when you guys are writing your Common Apps and doing your whole like applications, that this gives you some sort of, you know, help. I just said the same sentence 3 times. I'm getting into the video. Okay, so I have a lot of these written down on my phone because I have the memory of a goldfish. So please excuse me if I look down my phone a lot. I'm not a screenager, I promise. I'm just like reading my notes. The first thing is start filling out the basic common app stuff early. So if you log into Common App, there's like the actual Common App, not the essay, but the things you have to put in, like your name, your address, your social security number, that kind of thing. So start putting that stuff in as soon as you get the Common App. Like, you don't have to do anything about your honors extracurriculars or anything. Literally just put in the most basic things ever. And I say this because you do not want to be like at 11:59 the day you're actually submitting your essays and things, and then you realize you haven't put your address down, and so you have like 5 minutes to click submit, and then you're here trying to remember where you live. That has happened to me. So please make sure you do that early. And it's really easy to just be like, you know, your name, social security number, like find that stuff early though, because I promise you do not want it to be the day of the deadline and you have like 30 minutes to submit your application, but then you have to dedicate like 15 to putting in the stupid stuff like your mother's name and your father's name, and that stuff is pretty lengthy. If you have like a big family or like a complicated situation with your family, please do that as soon as possible, because the questions are so detailed. They'll be like, what's your mother's maiden name? Like, they'd be asking the wildest things. So please make sure you get all the information that you need early. So like, get your social security card, find out where everybody lives, you know, find out how many siblings you have, you know, sometimes you don't know that information, you know, they're gonna ask where they go to college, like that kind of stuff. So make sure you get all that early out of the way so that you can save the rest of your limited time for writing the essays and all the hard stuff. So yeah, that's my very first tip, because I was submitting my essay. I was submitting something like the day of, and then I realized I forgot to put like my mom's address, and I did not know where she lived. So I was like, oopsie. So I had to like go and find it. It was really, really stressful. So please, I'm begging you, do that stuff early. Yeah. Okay, my second tip, while you're already on Common App, make sure you figure out the requirements and stuff for your school while you're on there, because a lot of schools have like specific requirements of stuff that you need. Like, for instance, some schools want you to write like, you know, the essays, the number of essays you have to write, what you need to write. Make sure you get that early so you have enough time to research, because you should not leave anything till the day of. But if you end up having to leave it till the day of, it's a lot better and easier if you already have like what you need to do. So for instance, let's say to Cornell, right? Cornell had they had like 3, actually no, Cornell had a lot of essays. I forget all of them, but like I said, they have so many essays, and you really want to know beforehand. So let's say you don't want to be like, it's, you know, the day of, and you're actually trying to apply to Cornell, but then you realize you have like 5 essays and it's midnight and you don't have time. So you want to make sure you get that early. So start your college list early and figure out what they require. You don't have to know exactly where you're applying to. Like, you don't have to know I'm applying to Harvard, Dartmouth, Penn. Like, you don't have to know exactly where you're applying. But if you do have some colleges that you know that you want to like consider apply to, make sure that you know their requirements, so that if you do, and you don't even have to apply to them, but if you do end up applying, it'll be a lot easier because you know what they require. So I would definitely say to do that. And while we're on like the topic of getting stuff early, do like look at the stuff like location of your school and stuff. Like, don't find yourself getting into like, you know, like let's say you get into like Dartmouth and then you realize it's all the way in the middle of nowhere and you actually don't want to go there, but then like it's already post-college application season and you wish you applied to like Mish or something. But that was way early. Like, you don't want to be like me, where like after college applications you do, I'm like, you know what, actually I wish I applied to like, you know, what school was it? There was a school, well, I forget now that I'm recording, but there is this one school that I like did not even look at. I didn't even consider it. Like, it was not on my like to-do list. I just like heard of it. I didn't want to apply. Then after college application season, then I searched it up. I was like, oh my god, that's actually a really good school. I probably should have applied to that. So you do not want that to be happening to you. So So make sure that you start considering that stuff really, really early, because it does add up. Like, you're gonna be like, oh, let me just search up colleges, like, you know, in November. No, you gotta do that now, because I promise you, there will be a school like that, or you'll be like, man, I wish I applied to more schools, or I wish I did this, or I wish I did that. Don't find yourself wishing you did something. Just do it now as soon as possible, because this doesn't require like writing an essay or anything. That's just literally taking up your phone and Googling like colleges in Mississippi, or, you know, colleges for pre-med, or, you know, stuff like that. Just Google and get all that out of the way, because you do not want to be like 11:59 submitting your essay and you're like, oh my god, like what's actually the name of this college? So yeah, do that. On the topic of like requirements and stuff, make sure you get your recommendations early. And when I mean like early, I don't mean November, I mean now. Like, I mean, because if there's certain teachers at your school that are like really popular, or like the ones that are known for giving out good recommendations, you want to get yours like you want your recommendation to be the first one that they write, because come November they're gonna be so stressed with like they have their own work to do, they have their own lives, so you don't want them to be writing you like a really half-written recommendation. One of my teachers ChatGPT'd my recommendation, and not their fault. I literally asked them like in November, so I don't think they had time to like write it for real. So if you don't want that happening to you, make sure you like ask them for it like in August, when as soon as you get back to school. Make sure you ask them for it, and make sure you get your brag sheet. So a brag sheet's basically like the stuff that you did, because your teachers know you, but they don't know you like that. They don't know what you did. They don't know like the kind of thing you're going for. Like, they don't even know your major. So you have to give them all this information so that they can write an adequate recommendation. Otherwise, you're just gonna write, oh yeah, she was a pleasure in class. Like, duh, everybody who's applying to Harvard was a pleasure in class. You know what I mean? So make sure you give them that information and those niche things. And if you have something specific that you want them to talk about, make sure you write that in your brag letter, because I promise you they don't know unless you tell them. So if you want them to talk about like, oh, that one time that you led a discussion, or, you know, that one time at the field trip where you saved a cat from a tree or whatever, make sure you tell them so that they can include it, because they really don't know. They have too many students to be worried about that kind of stuff. So yeah, ask them for them early. Make sure you get your brag sheets, and your brag sheets are just like, they don't have to be an essay writing what you did. Just be like, oh, you know, varsity cheer captain, varsity soccer captain, you know, student council, National Honor Society, that kind of stuff. Put it on there so they can just include it, because I guess the colleges will know that, but it's really nice to have your teachers like confirm that, so that's not like suspicious. Like, what do you mean you started an organization with 90 million people but your teacher didn't know about it? Then who knew about it? You know what I mean? So make sure you put that and get those in early. I mean, you want your email to be the very first email for recommendations, so that your teacher can sit down and like yours will be the basis for the other ones. You don't want your recommendation to be a reused one from somebody else. So make sure yours is in there first and get that early, because you will forget. And some schools, make sure you look at this, some schools require like one from a core teacher, or like one from like, let's say if you're an engineering major, a lot of schools require you to have like a science teacher and math teacher, right? So I don't do what I did. I forgot. I thought I just got these two recommendations, that's chill, right? So I applied to the school, and then they're like, oh, we need one from your math teacher, and my math teacher didn't write any of my recommendations. I was like, see, and it was literally like 3 days before it, so I had to like, you know, ask her for a half-written recommendation. So make sure, and I'm like, I cannot stress this enough because this happened to me, make sure that you like find out what your schools need, what recommendations they need, and ask for them early, so that come college application deadlines, they're already in there, they're already in there. And make sure if you ask them early, they have time to actually submit them, because you don't want it to be 11:59 on the day of, and then you look and then you realize your recommendations aren't submitted, and you can't really do anything because it's midnight. And like, what are you gonna do? Drive to the school at midnight and ask them to like put them in? Does not work like that. So please, I literally cannot stress this enough, get those in early, because you will forget, because I did forget, and I'm not like everybody, but a lot of people are going to forget. So get those in early, just trust. Okay, for this third thing, I want you to pick up your phone, I will with you. We're going to find Reddit. If you have Reddit, if you see that little red app, orange app, I want you to take this app and delete it. Delete that app, delete it. No, you do not need to be on Reddit right now. And I don't mean if you're on Reddit, I don't know what people use Reddit for. I'm not on Reddit. I just installed the app for this video actually. But when I was in college application season, I kept on ending up on like Chance Me. If you don't know what that is, you are blessed. But it's this place where people like compare their stats and stuff and be like, oh, like is this 1600 good enough for like a Dartmouth, or hey, can I get into Harvard with like a 3.7 GPA? And it's not bad to like, you know, want to compare stats with people, but it does get toxic when I don't know how to explain this, but it does get toxic to your mental health when like you're trying to apply to college, right? Let's say you have like a 1530 grade score, right? Then you go on chance me, then somebody says, oh my god, a 1530, that's awful, you're not gonna get in. Now you're like, oh shoot, what do I do? You know? Or let's say you see somebody like, oh, I founded a nonprofit that raised $90 majillion and my SAT score is like a 6700 and I led this, I'm the founder of NASA, but then I got rejected from Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Stanford, blah, 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 blah. And then you're just like, oopsie, then you're like, I have 0 chances. But no, it does not work like that. What one person does to get into college might not be what works for you, and what works for you might not work for somebody else. But if you're in college application season, low-key, your mind is just not like working because it's just so much stress. So like when I was in college application season and I saw those, I was like, dang, like I swear I reread my extracurricular sheet like 5 times because I thought it wasn't good enough, and it like was fine. My extracurriculars are decent, like they're not bad. I mean, they're not like I didn't found NASA or anything, but like they're chill, right? And I got into college, but because I saw all these people, I was like, oh my god, like I thought it was enough. And this tip is not to delete Reddit. This tip is to not compare. Please do not compare. And I don't just mean Reddit, I mean like going to school and seeing your friend with like a 1500 SAT score, you have a 1450. That does not mean they're gonna get in. That does not mean you're not gonna get in. It's simply just a metric, okay? Maybe it works for you, maybe it works for other people. And about like the videos, have you ever seen those videos like, oh, how I got into Stanford, how I got into Dartmouth? And I cannot be talking because I did post a video like that, but it really depends on the person you are. Like for me personally, those videos helped me a lot because it helped me to see a variety of different perspectives. But if you know you're the kind of person who will compare yourself and get depressed, don't watch them. Like literally just don't watch them. You can watch them after you submit your comment app, but do not watch them if you know that that's something that would make you sad. And just in general, please don't compare. Like I rewrote my essay 20 times, not because I didn't like it. I thought my essay was great. Then I would read somebody else's essay and hate mine and start over. Don't be doing that to yourself. First of all, you're wasting time. Then of all, you're wasting your free Grammarly thingies. And third of all, just don't. Like, just don't, okay? I promise you. I mean, if you're on this video, you obviously care about college and college apps, right? And so if you care about it enough, I bet you've already researched a million times and seen all the tips and tricks, like use imagery, use good words, use blah, 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 blah. You already know what you're basically supposed to do. So what you have right now is probably good enough. Of course, that does not mean to not improve it. Like, ask teachers, ask counselors, ask parents to read, ask friends to read. But please do not be listening to a Reddit bot who has not touched grass in 3 years, okay? I assure you, your 1500 is good enough for whatever school you're trying to get into. And if it isn't, it's fine, because it's not the end of the world, okay? You will get into a great and brilliant school, and you do not need to chance yourself on Reddit. My third tip, I don't know what tip number we're on, but make sure if you're worried about like, or get your stats stuff out of the way early, because the stats are the hard things. Like your extracurriculars, you could just, you know, raise $1 million a day before your college app and submit that, you know, but stats normally don't really change that drastically. So make sure you get your stats in check early. So if you know that your GPA is like lacking, make sure you start getting the good grades now. Because, you know, in second semester, senioritis is going to hit. I thought it wouldn't hit. It is going to hit. So make sure in first semester you set up your schedule that you're able to, you know, get the good grades. You make sure you start studying early for your tests and that kind of thing. Make sure to get that in early, and to take the SAT early as possible. I thought, you know, I was fine. I could take it in November. No. By the time you get to November, you're going to be so swamped with like college applications stuff. You're going to be swamped with school stuff, extracurricular stuff. You're just not going to have time to study. And it's not, I mean, you can still get a good score. Maybe you're a genius. I'm not. Maybe you're just a normal genius and can like get a 1600 like that. But most people can't. So if you know that you're going to have some time to study, or you need to study for the SAT, start studying like now. Or let me not say that. Start studying. It depends. I started studying August of my senior year and it worked for me. But some people need to start studying earlier in the summer. So, and summer studying, actually no, I started studying summer. So, summer studying is so good because you don't have anything else weighing on you. But if you know you just are not trying to study in the blistering heat, that's fine. But make sure you start studying early, because I assure you, come December, you're not gonna have enough energy to even open up your computer and start studying. And that sounds so drastic. I exaggerate. I promise it's not that bad. But please, like, I'm begging you, take like the August SAT. Don't take December, because everybody's taking in December. Take the August SAT. And there's just so many things. There's so many reasons to take it early, apart from the fact that, you know, you're not going to be as depressed as let me stop scaring y'all. I promise you, your year is not that bad. But take it early just because, like, it's better. Yeah. That's all I have to say. But on a serious note, it's a lot easier to study for the SAT when you're not worried about stuff like in submitting your essays on time, because in August nothing's really due. And even like scholarship essays, all that kind of stuff, they're always due like later. Not always, but a lot of them are due later. So make sure that you get your SAT scores early, because you will stress about them. Like, I mean, maybe you already have a 1600. I didn't. And so if you know, and it's fine if you have a score that you're fine with, then that's chill. Like, you don't gotta do this. But if you're like me and you really want to higher up your score because you want to like apply to some rich schools, make sure you do that early, because it will beat you in the. This is kind of going into more of a don't compare, but I'm making this a separate tip because it was so bad for me. Please, like, don't let social media ruin your perception of things. I guess this is also don't compare. But when I applied to college, so I didn't apply ED or EA to anywhere because I was too paranoid that my stuff weren't good enough. So I didn't apply. I applied regular decision everywhere, right? But a lot of my friends applied like regular decision, and then like come December, I was seeing like committed to Yale, committed to Harvard, committed to Stanford, committed to Penn, committed to MIT, right? And I was super happy for them because like my just stuff hadn't come out yet. Cause so like how could I compare? But it was more of a, I thought all the slots were being taken up and I had no chance. And it does not work like that, because RD wouldn't exist if all the slots are getting ED. If that was the case, then RD would just be ED. Like, it doesn't make sense. But to me, after I saw people getting to like NYU, got into like Clemson, all these schools, right? I was like, oh my god, now all the spots taking off. Or I thought like, oh, they've already taken somebody from my area, now they won't take me. Or oh, somebody, because a lot of people from my area, like, oh, they've already taken, Duke already got this girl from my area, so I'm not getting into Duke. Or, oh, this girl already got into Yale, so now I can get into Yale. You know, that's the kind of mindset that I had. No, it does not work like that. I assure you, just because your friend got in doesn't mean you can't get in. Like, if you have the stats to get in, you're going to get in. It does not matter who got in before you. It does not matter who's in your area. It does not matter what school you go to. If you have it to get in, if you were meant to get into the school, you are going to get in. So please do not let social media or any of this fool your perception. And also, if you see those reels, oh my god, what stressed me out was seeing those TikToks, like, you know, you probably don't know these TikToks because you're probably not as mentally challenged as I am. But a lot of these TikToks saying like, oh, these are schools I got into, and it's like MIT, Stanford, Yale, Princeton, Cornell, all these schools. And it's like, well, dang. You just feel like, I don't know, it just makes you feel like what am I doing with my life? Stop doing that. You're fine. You're doing great with your life. Your life is awesome. You're doing awesome. Do not let these rich kids going to these schools affect your life, okay? Just because they go to a feeder school where everybody goes to Harvard does not mean you can get into Harvard or they are better. That just means you have different circumstances. I cannot stress this enough. Like, I cannot. And I'm not saying that everybody who gets into Harvard or MIT goes to a feeder school. That's not correct at all. A lot of people who go to normal schools get into these schools. But when you see those videos where like 70% of their class is going to Harvard, like that's not normal. That's like Harvard's whole acceptance rate, you know? Or like if you see like literally everybody's going to like a T20, like that's just not normal. But don't make them feel bad about yourself, because that's not your fault. Like, they probably paid $1 million for SAT tutoring, okay? And you have to tutor yourself, and that's fine, okay? Do not let these people make you feel lesser, okay? I assure you, you're going to get into college and it's going to be fine. Anyway, that's my spiel about social media and college stuff. Next tip. My very last tip for this video is take a break. And I don't mean like, you know, take a break every 2 weeks. Like, I mean like seriously, like give yourself time. College app season is not like any other season of high school. Like, I know that you've grinded before. I know you've submitted exams at 11:59 and they've gotten 100 with 1 day of studying. I know you guys are all academic weapons. However, this is not normal life, okay? College app season really does drain the most weapons of academics. Like, I mean, it's something different. So please, oh my god, so please allow yourself like that time. Like, let yourself rest, okay? Do not staring at the computer screen for 5 hours looking at one sentence of essay is not going to help you. And it's normal to be stuck. It's normal to feel like confused, because I promise you, when I wrote my Common App, I literally stared at 2 words. I'm not even kidding, 2 words, and the words were Common App. I stared at them for a week before I even wrote a single sentence down on my thing. It's all right to not have it all figured out. It's all right to not be perfect. It is all right for a hijab to apparently not be hijabbing. But yeah, what I mean to say is, all right, give yourself a break. Let yourself live, okay? And at the end of the day got in. Like, at the end of the day, it's not that deep, you know? Like, you'll get into college, I promise you. Like, there's no way you're not getting into college. Like, if you apply to college, right, going to college. And when I mean right, I don't mean by right in the best. I say, I mean, if you apply to a good range of schools, you apply to safeties, reaches, matches, I assure you're going somewhere, okay? And that somewhere that you end up is going to be amazing. I can already tell. You know, you're going to end up where you belong. And I know you hear that from everywhere. When I heard that, I was like, like I'm not ending up nowhere. I'm about to be going to like nowhere. I'm about to be a stay-at-home child. Like, I thought I wasn't gonna get it, but I promise you, you're going to get in somewhere. Maybe even if it's not like, you know, your top school. Like, my top school was I can't talk on this topic, but I know a lot of people who didn't get into the top schools, but the school that they ended up going was a lot better and a lot better fit for them. And you will get into college and you will succeed and life will be good, okay? And you will go the best place for you. And if you don't feel like it's the best place, you can just transfer. Like, this is not the end. You can transfer next year, you can transfer 2 years, you can transfer 3 years. Like, this is not the end of life, okay? You're simply a teenager in college app season and you will be okay. That's my last piece of wisdom, or attempted wisdom. Yeah. Okay, that's all the information I have today. I might do a part 2 if you guys want it. Or I might do it because I feel like doing it because I'm unemployed and I don't do anything at home. So I might just make one. Yeah. But thank you for watching. If you made it here, thank you, bro. I need money. Thank you for watching my video. That is so unprofessional. But thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment because, like I said, I need those funds. Cornell is not going to pay for itself. So, please. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I really hope it did help you. I genuinely do hope it helped you. And if it did help you and you want a part 2 with other tips, because I've learned so much and there's so much I could talk about. But this video is about to be 30 minutes and I can't edit a 30-minute video. So this has got to end here. But if you need more or if you want more, please don't hesitate to DM me on my Instagram. I'm going to put it down here somewhere. So please DM me about specific questions that you have. If you have any questions about Common App, questions about Cornell, questions about life, like, if you just want to like have a chat, you know, you can just talk about life, anything really. As you can tell, I'm no lead unemployed, but please, yeah, reach out. Love you, bye.